Hi, good evening. Welcome to a special edition of Cat Space. I am Cat. With me always is Buckets and Leon. Hello, gentlemen.
Evening.
How are we all?
It's really weird because it's Mardi Gras night. Technically, it's Mardi Gras night. There's three things happening right now. We're doing a podcast here, so yeah, we could be watching. We could be watching the parade. We could be watching the by-election, which is happening live, and we could also be doing a podcast. So we're doing a podcast. So screw it.
Well, this podcast is something I'm pretty much passionate about when it comes to American politicians and politics. This topic is about former First Lady Michelle Obama. I don't know if anyone's heard, but it's all over TikTok and it's all the rage. Rumors are rife and strong that come May, the DNC in America is going to announce Michelle Obama for the running of president as their Democratic nominee and oust Joe Biden. I don't know if that's true. I've tried to research this. I've been watching and listening, and I would like your thoughts. First question. Um, Actually, with the presidential election in 2005, do you believe the rumors? Question one, here we go. I'm going to take it in turns. What is the likelihood that the Democratic Party will choose Michelle Obama? Leon.
um, I would probably think that why. To be honest, I'm asking myself why they would pick Michelle Obama right now. Don't who's the immigration minister at the moment? What's her name?
Vice
The
President
first. What's her name?
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris. Yeah, that's it. I couldn't think of her name, but Kamala Harris. She was the stronger running mate for Joe Biden. So why would Kamala Harris be shunted for Michelle Obama? It seems like their reasoning for a writing candidate like Michelle Obama. Don't get me wrong, Barack Obama is a household name, but Kamala Harris did a lot of the heavy lifting for Joe Biden for him to get elected. So if anything, I would have stuck with Kamala Harris if these rumors are true. I'd stick with Kamala Harris because people liked the name. People thought that she was a stronger candidate. We don't know if Michelle Obama is going to be a strong candidate.
Hmm. Buckets. What is the likelihood that the Democratic Party will choose Michelle Obama as a running mate?
I think personally, I think they're kind of afraid of Trump, to be perfectly honest. That's a reality because Trump is becoming more and more popular because he's always on the news all the time. So getting Michelle Obama might be a possibility, but the thing is, I'm with Leon. I mean, why would you risk an election and get Michelle Obama, particularly when Michelle has said countless times, I do not want to be the president of the United States, and then sacrifice that for someone who actually does want to be the president of the United States and actually has a long, long track record of being involved in politics. I don't know why you'd shaft Kamala Harris because Kamala Harris just seems like the better choice to make.
Mm.
But I do understand that people do like Michelle Obama because she's married to one of the most popular presidents in history.
Mm.
And I think the Democratic Party, unfortunately, and they did this with Hillary Clinton as well, is that they thought they could win through virtue signaling. And I have a funny feeling that if Michelle Obama takes the reins and say, yes, I'm going to be president of the United States, they'll try to do more virtual signaling again. So I'm a little bit worried about that, but I don't think she would be a bad president. I just think that she's inexperienced.
Mm. I agree with both of you. I think, as you both said, why not Kamala Harris? She's the vice president of the United States of America currently. She would have a higher chance of winning against Donald Trump. But the thing is, one where you said they're afraid of Trump winning because he is still very much popular. But at the same time, you have two octogenarians who look like they're fighting for the last biscuit in the nursing home. Threatened that one One is a man who is allegedly broke, he can't pay for his courtroom fees. Two is another man who's president and who doesn't know where he is 95% of the time, who he's talking to, what he's saying. So
He just did one of those evaluations as you're supposed to do as president to find out whether or not you're still competent to be the president. Now, as I understand, he passed that test. Somehow he passed that test. I'd love to know the test results, but so according to those test results, he could still be the president for a little while longer.
true, I've seen those as well, but part of me's going, they did one for Trump and apparently he's cognitive, but both men, for me, it's a bit worrying because both men have trouble speaking sometimes. Both men look like they've had strokes. I love you, President Biden, but I think having Michelle Obama, who could possibly, even though she doesn't have any experience, she was the first lady, and she would possibly have some great policies up her sleeves. And they want to use Michelle Obama as a tactic to announce her as a Democratic National Democratic or Democratic National Party member against Trump. So
You said the first lady. Wouldn't Hillary Clinton be technically the first lady because Bill Clinton was the president before Barack Obama was?
and yes, she would be known. She's still known as former first lady, but with Hillary Clinton, the problem is
She had an entire investigation.
yeah, she had an entire
and people
investigation.
don't trust her anymore. So therefore, her being president of the United States, there's a really good chance that she would not get in purely because the American people simply do not trust her.
Now, here's the next question. Question 2. Since Kamala Harris is just as popular, could Kamala Harris be selected on Michelle Obama's ticket?
Ooh, I'll tell you what, that would be a good ticket, but I would say it should be the other way around. Shouldn't Michelle Obama be on Kamala Harris's ticket? Because how popular, as you said in the last question, how popular Kamala Harris is. Michelle Obama would be popular, but I reckon if Michelle Obama was Kamala Harris's running mate, that would be significant. That would probably tip it. We would have our first African American president, and also our first African American vice president as well.
I think Leon's actually right on this one because if you had Kamala Harris as the president and then Michelle Obama as the vice president, you'd have at
A
one
lethal mix.
exactly you would have an absolute lethal mix. Everyone would be voting for these two. One, you've got Kamala Harris with the experience, like I mentioned before, but then you've got another person who no one has anything on. Like there's no kind of background shady deals that Michelle Obama has made. There isn't any corruption behind the scenes. She's like clean as a whistle. She would be a wonderful woman to look up to. So if I was Michelle Obama, I would put
Kamala Harris.
sorry, if I was Kamala Harris, I would put Michelle Obama on the meal ticket just to have a really strong combination.
I'm not going to answer that question because you both have answered it. Let's get to question 3, gentlemen. Leon, Michelle Obama has said many times that she doesn't wish to run. What could possibly change her mind?
That's a good question. Things that could change her mind. I think maybe Barack Obama would be a huge influence there. Maybe Barack Obama could say, you could potentially beat Donald Trump, or if say you went on Kamala Harris's ticket, then you too would both have, like I said the African American ticket right there. You would have an African American ticket. You would have an African American prime president and vice president. Depends on how strong that is. Whether or not the racial card would be able to trump or even Trump Biden or something. How's that for you? Trump and Trump Biden. But at the same time, you were right. They said that you need younger blood in the US, in the presidency right now, because right now both of these guys, pretty much one fall and they're done. So both of them. So I don't like the age. I think the age. I think the age right now is too great right now between the president and the would-be president right now. So I think what Biden's 82 and Donald Trump's 77 or something along those lines. They're now pretty much too old. I think they need a younger generation. You know, like Barack Obama, who was a pretty young dude himself when he was the president of the United States.
The thing is, right, one thing that if Michelle Obama was to run, it would Donald Trump would struggle to destroy Michelle Obama because she's effectively got no past. Okay. You know, he was able to destroy these other politicians because they all had a past. They all had their problems. They all made their mistakes, you know, nationally. But Michelle doesn't actually have a past per se. So it's going to be, she doesn't have a celebrity past. So it would just be, she would just be too hard to knock off. Whereas for Donald Trump to knock off Biden, it would just be too easy. It would just be way too easy. Kamala Harris, she would be a little bit easier to knock off because she's made her mistakes in the past as well. But she's been in politics longer than, you know, Donald Trump has. But, you know, if you put Michelle Obama in there, I guarantee you she would be a sleeping dragon. She really would be a sleeping dragon. And it would be like trying to pick a fight with Gandhi. It's too hard. You just can't do it.
I think for me, you're both right, but I think for me, what would possibly change my mind, Leon said her husband, he was president for 8 years. So he has, you know, he has a lot of experience and knowledge in what's happening around the world. He still has, I'm sure every president, prime minister still has an office for them. So he's probably got an office for himself. He still probably gets information. So he could relay that information to her. He could help her out. He could bring donors in for her, campaign for her. Apparently from what I heard on TikTok is he secretly or allegedly secretly been getting donations from donors on their sides. And I think the way that she talks to people and the fact that she's always around people, she wants to see the good in everything, and she's very likable and she's very lovable and warm. And I think that seeing what's happening now is what could change her mind. One, her husband, and two, what the hell is happening in America.
And also, one thing about Barack Obama, he was like 47 when he was the president of the United States. I believe he was 47, so that would make him the youngest. While you've got Joe Biden right now, who is pretty much double his age, almost double, not far away from being double his age, and Donald Trump, who is maybe 3/4 of his age as well. So I think having a younger generation of presidents would definitely be an advantage.
I agree. Here's the next question. And we've touched on it a little bit, but let's dive in further. If Michelle Obama runs, would former President of the United States, Barack Obama, influence her decisions? As I said, we've just touched on this, but let's do a deep dive.
If he did, which I have no doubt he probably would, but if he did, there would be massive scandal because people would think that they've just voted in Barack Obama again. And I know that Americans are quite picky about voting in the Obamas for a third term. In saying that, a lot of people actually liked Barack Obama. But the thing is about Barack Obama was he was an international president. So he was liked by the international community a lot. In Australia, we loved him. We absolutely loved him. We loved his politics. But without a doubt, there would be some, well, I hope there wouldn't be, but without a doubt, there probably would be a lot of influence on Barack's side gently whispering into her ear about what to do, and I think that's a scary thought, kind of thing. I wish that she would think by with her own brain, because I think she really is a smart woman, and she is a smart, independent African American woman who holds herself up with great esteem. But I just hope that it's just not a way for Barack Obama to have more power.
I mean, think about it. How cool would it be to have someone who was the president of the free world? If she wins, he'll become the first ever first gentleman who served as president.
Can I say something? A lot of the reason why they didn't vote in Hillary Clinton because they used the word Billary. So they were worried that Hillary would just follow the same policies as Bill Clinton. So they were actually really worried about that. And that was another reason why Hillary Clinton didn't get voted in.
Leon, if Michelle Obama runs, would former President Barack Obama influence her decisions?
Well, he wouldn't be allowed to. Otherwise, as Bucket said, it would be a scandal. So, unfortunately, as much as I would imagine Barack Obama would want that, he wouldn't want that to happen to Michelle Obama, because you would just give the next Republican candidate so much cannon fodder to run with right up until the following election. That's, of course, if Michelle Obama A, decides to run for the president, B, wins it. So, as much as Barack Obama would want to, he wouldn't be able to, and Michelle Obama would not be able to accept his advice. The advice has to come from the politicians there in the House of the Representatives and also in the Senate. So the advice has to come from them, not from her husband.
Except, of course, if Obama was to run as vice president.
No, he. Oh, wait, it's okay.
Oh,
See, President Obama is only allowed to serve 2 terms as president, but there's nothing stopping him from being vice president.
it used to be a running joke in Futurama, right? When Richard Nixon, even though he was the president, and one of the comments was, nobody could run for presidency twice. And the quote-unquote Richard Nixon from Futurama says, that's right, nobody, but I have a shiny new body. So I got a technicality around that one.
It is pretty funny.
Next question. What policies would Michelle Obama support?
Well, obviously they would be of the left, so she probably wouldn't support. She would probably there'd be things like higher restrictions when it came to gun control. There would probably might support more funds in education. I can see her supporting that. I could even see her supporting free university education and fund a bill so that more students had access to university education, which is a real problem in the United States, because most people in the United States, there are still people in the United States that can't read or write. So I think that's something that maybe she might support. Border control would be also a big one for her. Who's coming in. But I think Michelle Obama would not be an international president like her husband. I think she would be a domestic president, probably closer to Donald Trump. So that's how I'd say it. I think she'd want to fix the problems of her own country before fixing any of the problems in foreign countries.
Leon, what policies would Michelle Obama support?
Well, we'll know pretty quickly whether or not she wants to follow in her husband's footsteps, because the moment she says Obamacare, boom, then we know she's just going to take advice from her husband. Education is a huge problem over there in the United States right now. Also, immigration is also a big problem at the moment as well. I think what they need to do is right now they need to be focused on policies at home instead of policies abroad right now, because there's a lot of issues happening in the United States at the moment, like the homelessness, the healthcare is a shambles at the moment. The price of gas is a shambles at the moment. They're closed. What are they closing? Oil rigs at the moment? Well, I think that's what was mentioned at the last election or something along those lines. Um, it's that kind of issue. They need to find a decent balance, because the last set of presidents or whatever were hell bent on focusing on one issue, one main issue. There's a lot of problems right now in the United States, so she needs to tackle all of them. Or whoever's going to be the president next or whatever needs to tackle all of them instead of just going after one, going after the easy one. Someone needs to step up and take on the hard ones.
It's almost like there's been an absence in government in the United States, because Biden's cognitive ability has been damaged
In question.
and in question. And I find, even though I'm not specifically a Trump supporter, even I have to admit that the oil prices in America were lower under Trump than they were under Biden, which is a massive, massive problem if you want to do basic trade, right? So these are things that I think she's going to have to deal with if she becomes president of the United States.
You guys have touched on a lot of good points. I like that. What I think policies she would also support is growing your own vegetables, daily exercising, learning how to read, learning how to write. Also, she's a huge military. She loves being around military families, like Dr. Jill Biden. They love serving the military families, especially the Gold Star ones. So I can see her supporting them.
Do you think that she would improve the military budget?
Of course, because I think she would even go and see them, and shake their hands and thank them and bring them to the White House. Michelle Obama is motherly and warm, so I can see her inviting military families. I can see her meeting school kids as they go for the school excursion. I can see her touching on a lot of things, as you said, the border war and immigration, price of oil, university, military. And Leon's right. If she is to become president of the United States, she needs to really tackle everything. And she needs to find a way to balance her decisions for herself and not have President Obama tell her at the dinner table, oh, honey, you need to do this, you need to do that. I've seen an interview with her on TikTok where she said that she's frightened of what she's seeing, and the fact that she knows there are things she shouldn't know that she does know, that's also frightening for her. And I think if she's going to become president, Mrs. Obama or First Lady Obama really needs to focus on everything.
I think what she actually said is quite wasn't so much that she knows everything she knows more than she's letting on. I think what she was actually saying was that she knew that her husband was seeing something traumatic, which he wasn't allowed to tell his wife or his family about, which really affected him. And she would just know based off his facial expressions, based off his moods. Mm. Like, for example, he would go silent for the entire night during dinner time. And that's how she knew that there was something seriously wrong. Mm. I don't know if Obama would be sharing secrets with her.
I don't think so.
But I do believe that she can read her husband pretty well.
Mm. What about you, Leon?
I think Phil's right. Can you read it again, that question?
Yeah. What policies would Michelle Obama support?
Well, I did mention this earlier on. Obviously, she needs to go after the big ticket issues at the moment. At the moment, I'd imagine education is a big ticket issue right now. The price of gas right now, even though it hasn't changed as much between right now and it was last year. I checked this out from gas prices. I think it was .aaa or something along those lines just a few moments ago. The prices of gas hasn't really changed that much in the past year. Not that much. If anything, it's just kind of just staying at a high level, but it's still too high of a level. Immigration's a strong policy at the moment. Health is a big ticket at the moment. Homelessness is also a big issue at the moment. I believe in New York, wasn't there tent city over there in New York? I remember hearing a story about this. But yeah, um, need to get people in. Need to get people into houses or into work. And right now, there's not enough. There's not enough work. There's not enough healthcare, and there's not enough being done on immigration at this point in time. So
I
that
find,
would be a policy.
I find it amazing that America is one of the richest countries in the world, but they can't look after their own people.
Yeah, treating people so poorly. One of the most richest countries in the world, and yet you treat people so poorly. It's not good. Not good enough.
Next question. Will Michelle Obama be a domestic president or an international president now?
I would like, to be honest, I would like to see her be a domestic president because, she needs to, if she is to run and if she is to become president, she needs to focus on she needs to clean up the dog on her doorstep right now. That's probably the best way I could put it because like I said, there's a lot of things wrong in the US right now. But right now, the only thing that anybody's interested in is how we're going to look on the international stage. I don't care about the international stage. If I was the president or whatever, I wouldn't be worried about the international stage right now. I'd be worried about what's happening on my own doorstep first.
I agree. What about you, Bucket?
I think she'd be a domestic president. I mean, she might do a few international stuff here and there, but I think she'll be better as a domestic president because I think she just has a lot of empathy for a lot of people. And I think that she's got two eyes that can see things for herself as opposed to being blindsided by what's going on in the international community. She'll still have to basically listen to the UN and all of that. She'll still have to have a foreign minister that deals with international policy. So it won't be completely ignored. But I do think that she'll have to fix the biggest problems in her own country. Or no one will trust the Obamas ever again. They'll just say, look, she's just a waste of time and she's just at best she's just virtual signaling, which has pretty much been the sort of the strategy for most Democratic nominees to date, kind of thing. But if she does work with her own country, if she does fix the problems in her own country, there's no stopping. Maybe she might actually get a second second term. She won't get a third term, obviously, because of their laws. But if she does good with her own country, I can see her getting a second term.
I also see her as a domestic president. I can also see her fighting for bills like Roe v. Wade. Her and Kamala Harris are really big on the whole Roe v. Wade. I reckon those two are going to be powerhouses. If Kamala's her running mate on her meal ticket, Roe v. Wade's a big one. Healthcare, as you said, Leon, she'll have to have her own healthcare. Don't know if she'll keep following the Obamacare her husband has, or whether she'll create her own healthcare for everybody. Homelessness, etc., etc.
So that's the one thing that drives me crazy is everybody wants their own health care, but they want to put their own last name to it. I mean, wouldn't it be just smart just calling it America Care or something like that, or United States of America Care?
Because they all want the credit for it. That's why.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I'm not interested in taking the credit for it. I just want to get it done.
Exactly right. But the thing is, the Americans, one thing they're pretty much known for is their Hollywood and their propaganda as well,
and their egos.
And their egos, exactly. Like, I'll give you an example. There's an entire airport called JFK Airport. JFK isn't even the president anymore. But they've got a JFK Airport. So I think they just want to again, virtual. They just want to say, "Hey, I did this," you know. I mean, like, but that's just them, I guess. That's what they want to put their name on, I guess.
Exactly. Final question, gentlemen. And this is a fun one. Will history be in the making, Leon?
Until Michelle Obama says yes, it won't be. But if she says yes, then there's a strong possibility that history will be in the making, because I would imagine, as I did say at the start, I'd imagine that Michelle Obama and also Kamala Harris would be a would be a ticket there, and that would pull in a lot of votes. There would be a land rush of support for a Kamala Harris, Michelle Obama ticket. But note, I did say Kamala Harris, Michelle Obama, not the other way around, because I believe if anybody deserve a shot at it first, would be Kamala Harris instead of Michelle Obama.
Fair enough. Bucket?
Um,
Will history be in the making?
I mean, we'll know when it happens. That's my answer to it. But I will say this: if someone like Donald Trump can actually become president of the United States with no political history whatsoever, what's to stop Michelle Obama doing it as well? I mean, Michelle Obama was never elected, but she's still married to one of the most popular presidents of all time. So she, in my opinion, if Donald Trump can do it, so can Michelle Obama.
I agree with both your points. Leon says, wait and see if it happens, and yes. If it doesn't, then no. You're saying as well, wait and see. I feel the same way, but I don't know, I'm 50-50 because I really want her to run. I know it's just an alleged rumor, but if they're silently waiting, just waiting to put her on the stage and say Michelle Obama is in the running, and the reason why I say that is because there was a poll that they did with a couple of people, and one of them was a Republican, and she was leading him by that much. Jeff Newcomb or something like that. I don't know what the Republican's name was. But she was leading by a lot in front of him. There was a poll recently. But
Maybe she doesn't.
Mind you, this is one thing that we haven't touched on. Michelle Obama would have to be endorsed by the Democratic Party to become a running candidate. So that's one thing we haven't touched on, which probably needs to be touched on. If Michelle Obama wants to run as the president, she would have to win caucus, which means she has to do what basically Donald Trump's doing right now across America, winning those seats to be the nominated person for an upcoming election, and also she would have to be endorsed by the Democratic Party in order to run.
In saying that, all you have to do is look at TikTok, and everyone's saying Michelle Obama, Michelle Obama, Michelle Obama, Michelle.
The problem is TikTok's not a reliable news source.
You're right.
you're absolutely right.
However, even though you are right in the sense that she does need to be approved by the Democratic Party, and she has to accept the preliminaries before even beginning any campaign, right? Even though you're 100% right about that, the fact that the people of America would be happy to vote her in even before she's been selected, or even before she's even said, I'm going to do it, sounds like she's already got the popular vote. So we'll leave it at that. We'll wait and see.
Thank you so much to Buckets and Leon for joining me tonight. Thank you to the newest of subscribers, to the current subscribers and viewers. Thank you so much for watching us tonight. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to press the subscribe button. There is a bell next to it. Click on that. That'll help us get a lot
you
of
all know
content
where it
out
is.
to you. Yeah. So that'll help us give you a lot more content. Let us know in the comments below. Tell your friends, invite your friends to subscribe too. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and God bless. Until next week, we'll see you later. Cat's
Bye.
face out.